You know, the country has moved now to lockdown level 1, or will on Monday, and this was, or rather Sunday, then at midnight, the 20th of September. So we're going to be talking about some of the regulations announced by President Cyril Ramaphosa yesterday, and also with travel. And also with Heritage Month, we want to know exactly where can we go, why can we go, what do we need to know and do. So we are speaking to Marisa Jacobs. She's the director of Xpatweb, and she's joining us on the Business Hour this evening. How are you?
Hi, very good, thanks. Very happy to hear that the borders are opening up.
I can imagine. So, I mean, if we look at the past few months of the national lockdown, you know, how important is it, that we'll soon be able to travel internationally again?
I think it's vital for the business community and, of course, for tourism. For business, guys need to get to their countries of work. They need to get to their countries of study. So borders opening is absolutely vital to do that. And then, of course, we see a lot of guys who've been, of course, some guys have been able to travel for work and for study, but the guys who really haven't been able to travel are the guys who need to travel for business. So for vital business meeting in and out, and the opening of borders is of course going to allow that. So that is really going to see the economy start moving again. So of absolute paramount importance.
Are you guys aware of South Africans that couldn't come back to South Africa due to the lockdown that can now actually return back home?
I think most guys have been able to come back. There hasn't been restrictions from a government and Home Affairs perspective to bring South African citizens or permanent residents back. I think the challenge has been for guys to find flights to get back on, and of course it's been extremely expensive because of the limited availability of flights. So I think the opening of borders and commercial flights will definitely make it more possible for a lot of guys.
All right. So, Marisa, I mean, traveling in and out of South Africa for business and leisure, you know, it'll be permitted from the 1st of October, right?
Correct.
Okay. So how important will this be for reviving South Africa's economy? I mean, you touched on that in the first point, but do you think it'll make a drastic difference?
We're definitely hoping so. I think from a business perspective it will. We're unsure about leisure, not certain how many guys. I mean, of course, South Africa is definitely falling within one of the red countries. So we're not sure if foreign travelers will be keen on coming to South Africa at this stage. But I think with December resuming and a lot of guys putting their holiday plans together, we certainly hoping the opening of the borders and the fall in numbers will to some extent at least get the tourism industry going again.
And also, I mean, countries with high infection rates, they won't be able to enter South Africa. And but what should the guys who will be traveling, what should they take note of? What type of regulations do they need to know?
Yeah, it's unclear at this stage how they're going to handle the high-risk countries. We're hoping it's not going to be a complete ban, but there will just be some additional restrictions to those countries in terms of quarantine and testing. Yeah, but those are probably the main items guys need to take note of. Is you have to get a test done within a short 72 hours before you travel. So make sure you plan for that. And then, of course, quarantine. So if you're going to be traveling for business specifically, I mean, business travel is usually a couple of days in and out. But if you have to factor in long quarantine periods, both in your country where you're traveling to, as well as coming back to South Africa, that makes a week business trip turn into a 2-3 week trip if you have to count in quarantine. So just consider carefully whether you really need to travel and whether you can then comply with that either self-isolation period or quarantine period.
Director at Xpatweb, Marisa Jacobs, joining us on the Business Hour this evening. Lastly, also, I would like to find out your opinion. You know, could we maybe see a complete opening of the economy before the end of the year? I mean, moving to level 1 now, and it's September. So what do you think? What's your feeling on this?
Absolute fingers crossed. I think this is the first step in that direction. I think this opening of soft opening of borders, if I can call it that, will definitely be sort of a test phase. And depending on how that impacts numbers again, on whether the COVID numbers will rise or not, I think that will definitely give an indication on whether we can see a full opening of borders. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed on that one, definitely. Marisa, thank you so much for joining us this evening. You must have a beautiful one, for the rest of the night.
Thanks, all.
You're listening to OFM, the sound of your life. Of course, this is the Business Hour. Marisa Jacobs joining us on the Business Hour, director at Xpatweb.